Welcome to the NeuroHeir podcast, the show for cycle breakers, parents, young adults, and helping professionals ready to understand their nervous system through a generational lens, heal what isn't theirs to carry, and consciously choose what comes next. Hi, I'm your host, Leanna Hunt, an associate clinical mental health counselor and certified performance coach. Each week, you'll get stories, science, and somatic practices, plus my signature 4N framework: notice, name, nurture, and navigate, to help you honor resilience, break silence, and build deeper connection with yourself and those you love, all while shaping a legacy of safety, freedom, and possibility. Happy day before Thanksgiving, and welcome back to the NeuroHeir podcast. You're probably listening while you're running last-minute errands, baking pies, or maybe cleaning your house. Or maybe you said, forget traditional Thanksgiving altogether, and you're sitting on a beach somewhere soaking up the sun. If you are, just know I wish I was there with you. Maybe you're actually listening after Thanksgiving, replaying how the holiday really went. Honestly, some of my most favorite Thanksgivings have been the non-traditional ones. But wherever you are, I hope you're taking time to regulate your own nervous system. For some of you, that means preparing to see family you love, but maybe also struggle with. Maybe there's that one relative who hijacks the conversation and you can never escape. Maybe someone's drinking takes away from the spirit of the gathering. Or maybe you're dreading seeing a person because of things that were never healed or ever talked about. Wherever you are on this day, just know I'm wishing you safety, grace, and a body that feels supported. So how do holidays like Thanksgiving tie into nervous system repair? It actually goes right along with what I just mentioned. Our body prepares long before the actual event. Our brains do this crazy thing called predictive coding, a process described by neuroscientists like Carl Friston and Anil Seth. Essentially, the brain remembers past experiences and prepares for what it expects next. Also, in trauma research, Dr. Yehuda and her colleagues showed that stress can be reflected in biological markers across generations. That reminds us that how our bodies process stress can be shaped by what came before. So if the last few holidays have felt stressful or painful, or maybe your family has never had good stories of holidays as far as connection and repair, just remember that your nervous system is prepared to start signaling to you, hey, let's be on alert. And maybe this has happened through your family for a long time, or maybe it's just been the last few holidays. And remember that this actually doesn't just show up at holiday time either. Our system prepares in advance for anything that once felt overwhelming. Maybe you realize you do this before a big conversation, or a big deadline that's approaching, or walking into certain rooms. But when you think about tomorrow, you might notice right now that your heart is racing or has been racing, or that you're breathing really shallow, or you've been really irritable, or you're just super exhausted. Just remember that all of those are normal protective responses. Dr. Porges describes in polyvagal theory how when the body senses possible danger, it shifts out of social engagement and into defense, often seen as fight or flight or shutdown responses. Clinically, many of us also describe appease or fawning as an additional safety strategy that we've talked about on the podcast already. That's why you can feel on edge before the first guest even arrives. Your body is preparing to protect you. Fight says, I have to control all the details. Flight says, I've got to get out of here as fast as possible. Freeze says, say nothing, do nothing, stay invisible. And appease says, make sure everyone else is happy so we can just all survive this. Here's where the 4 N's begin to guide us. Notice what's happening. Notice if you feel tightening in your body or your mind starting to spiral. Second is name. Name the pattern. An example would be like, this is my flight energy wanting to get out of here. Third is nurture. Nurture the body. And it can be as simple as just a deep belly breath, or just placing a hand on your heart to connect with your own skin and your own self. And finally, fourth is navigate. Navigate is about choosing one small action that keeps you connected and helps you feel safe. And we're going to walk through those a little bit more today. It took me a long time to learn that if I didn't feel emotionally safe somewhere, that basically two extremes would happen. The first is that my stomach would feel super like locked up and clenched tight, and I wouldn't be able to digest food, and I would feel sick the whole time. And other times I'd swing the other way and overeat to quiet the unspoken stress. Maybe some of you listening can relate to that. For many years, food was my temporary calm, but it never lasted long because shame always followed. I spent so many holidays throughout my life upset at myself for what or how much I ate, which kept me from genuine connection. And it's just been the last few years that I've started to understand that when our nervous system is outside our window of tolerance, we cannot truly connect. It's also just been recently that I can finally say, I realized that my nervous system was doing the best that it could. It was trying to regulate, but it was doing it in an unhealthy way. And the problem had nothing to do with my willpower, which is interesting because I remember saying a lot to people throughout the years that I felt like I had no willpower. It was actually my body searching for safety. So before we go any further, take a moment to notice again. Notice how your body reacts when you even think about the holidays. Do you get a sense of tenseness? Do you feel like you want to collapse? Do you feel parts of you like your heart rate wanting to speed up or just that desire to disappear? I just want you to take a moment and just observe yourself without judgment. There are many coping patterns that appear when we can't stay in our window. Maybe at family gatherings or holidays, you feel like you have to be the loud one, cracking jokes to cut the tension. Or maybe you drink just to get through the evening. Maybe you're the one that goes completely quiet, believing that your words don't have value. Or maybe you stir conflict because that's the only way that anyone ever engages. Remember that these are survival responses. These, for a long time, have probably been your body's best attempt to bring you back to equilibrium. This is named the second N, being able to recognize protection rather than judging yourself as a sense of failure. When we're in threat mode, stress hormones divert resources away from digestion and can actually slow gut motility. Neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky explains this in Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. He explains that the body's prioritized survival. Blood flow moves to the large muscle groups rather than the gut. That's why feeling unsafe can feel like a knot in your stomach or a complete loss of appetite. So instead of judging these reactions, what if we started to practice with curiosity, even during Thanksgiving tomorrow? When you feel that urge, if you feel that, to overeat, to drink too much, to talk, to disappear, just allow yourself to take a minute and genuinely pause and ask, what is my body trying to help me with right now? We're going to take a minute to do that together. If you're driving or cooking, you can keep your eyes open, or you can come back to this later. For everyone else, just want to invite you to soften your gaze and bring your attention inward. I want to invite you to inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts and take that inhale from deep in your belly. When you inhale through your nose and you're doing a proper diaphragmatic breath, your belly's actually going to expand outward as you inhale, which can feel so counterintuitive to how we breathe. So inhale through your nose and fill your belly for 4 counts. And then hold gently at the top. And then exhale through your mouth for 6 counts, letting your shoulders drop. And try that again. In for 4. Hold and exhale for 6. That was a little longer than 6, but another little tip is just allow that exhale to extend as long as possible. That's another way that we're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps our nervous system rest and digest. So just for now, notice what's shifting inside of you. Did you notice anything shift? Maybe the weight in your chest, or you created space in your ribs, or maybe your face doesn't feel so tight. Now I want to invite you to gently scan your body from the top of your head all the way to your toes, setting the intention to find the place inside of you that feels even slightly calmer than the rest of you. And I promise that there's a part. Just take a minute, scan your body. For kids that come into therapy, have them hold their hand up like this, and we pretend that they're going through a giant x-ray machine and it's scanning the body. And I want to invite you to just see where that calmer spot is. Once you have that, then I want you to bring your eyes to a place in your visual field that feels calm. This is actually something called a resource spot. It's a brain spotting cue that anchors regulation. Where we look affects how we feel. So in the space that you're in right now, as you scan your environment, your eyes will find places that naturally feel safer. And this is such a great thing you can try tomorrow if you need it. You can activate your resource spot in the car, as long as you're not the one driving, before you get out, at the dinner table, after, anytime you need it. Brain spotting is a cue, again, that anchors regulation. I want you to stay here for one more breath with me. Inhale for 4. Hold at the top. And take your longest, slowest exhale out your mouth or your nose. That's your nervous system remembering safety, guys. And that's what I call regulation in real time. I use practices like these with my clients and for myself before my own sessions, before gatherings, even sitting in my car outside a family event. It's a small act of nurture that tells the body, hey, I'm here, I've got you. And sometimes nurturing also means stepping back. It's allowing yourself to feel like you could walk away from a conversation, to go take a breath in the hallway or the bathroom. Maybe someone else can carry that story for a moment so you don't have to. Remember that as you care for your nervous system first, that's what allows connection for you to follow. Once you've noticed, named, and nurtured, you can begin to navigate. That might look like pausing and taking one conscious breath before responding to a comment. It might mean stepping outside without your phone for 60 seconds of silence and to breathe in that fresh air. Maybe it means grounding through a sensory anchor, like the warmth of a hot mug filled with apple cider or your favorite drink. Maybe it's just smelling the cinnamon on your pumpkin pie, or it's connecting to the sound of laughter in the room. Navigation is about staying connected without feeling like you have to abandon yourself. In my own life, I pause more now than I ever have. Often, I'll put my hand on my heart and remind myself, I'm not in charge of everyone in this room. I just have to stay with me. These small moments of self-connection can create significant impact. Some more research from Dr. Rachel Yehuda's lab shows that stress responses can echo across generations through differences observed in stress-related gene methylation. So when we regulate in real time, we're likely sending a different biological message forward, and certainly a different relational one. Legacy repair isn't about fixing our families, guys. It's about changing how the story lives inside us. Every pause, every breath, every act of nurture is a form of repair, and it begins a new chapter written throughout your body. That's what it truly means to become a NeuroHeir, tending to what your body carries so the next generation doesn't have to. Before we close, I want to share something super special that I have been creating. Starting in February 2026, I'm opening a small group coaching experience for those of you ready to take this work deeper beyond the podcast. It's a space to learn how to regulate, learn how to repair and rise, and we're going to do it together. We're going to weave all the things that I've brought into the podcast so far, including nervous system education, body-based practices, and legacy repair through live sessions, community reflection, and gentle accountability. So if you've ever thought, I wish I could do this work in community with guidance and support, maybe this is for you. I'll be sharing the waitlist link soon, and we'll let you know when it's ready. I'd love to have you join us. So remember, wherever you spend this holiday, around a crowded table or in quiet solitude, please remember this. You can't control the energy in the room, but you can care for your own nervous system. Each calm breath you take becomes a signal of safety, and it can become that signal of safety for all the generations yet to come. When you feel ready, pause for a moment of gratitude. Not the forced kind that denies how hard things can be, but the kind that coexists with what's real. Studies on gratitude, for example, have found that brief gratitude reflections can boost positive emotion, reduce physical complaints, and in some conditions, improve sleep and health behaviors, increasing overall well-being. Later research has also linked regular gratitude practice to reduce stress and stronger social connection. Gratitude isn't pretending everything is fine. It's allowing the body to recognize what is still safe, what is still steady, and what is still good. You might place a hand over your own heart and whisper quietly, right now, I'm grateful for the breath that moves through me. Right now, I'm grateful for one person who sees me. And right now, I'm grateful for the chance to begin again. Gratitude helps regulate the nervous system because it brings us into the now. And now is where safety can begin again. So however this season looks for you, may your breath be steady, may your heart be soft, and may your body know you are safe to receive. Thank you for listening, and happy Thanksgiving, friends. As always, please take a minute to send me a message and let me know how this episode resonates for you. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, I love the conversations that I'm having over there on Instagram. And what would also be so helpful is if you could take a moment to rate and review this podcast. That helps other NeuroHeirs like you be able to find this work, be able to start learning about their own nervous system. And that's how we impact generations to come. So until next time, bye guys.